Welcome to the news, 8 p.m. news on Canal de English. I am Elie Smith. Good evening. First, the headlines. The names of the teams to play the finals of the ongoing African Women's Nations Cup are now known. They are the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon and the Super Falcons of Nigeria, who just clinched a place in a pool-setting match in Limbe. The finalists came out in two matches played respectively, as I said, in Yaoundé and in Limbe. The unrest that has rocked West Cameroon and characterized by violent repression from Cameroonian security forces is beginning to gain international attention. It doesn't often happen, but this time around, councillors of the Ngaoundé First Council have frowned at the inability of the local branch of the National Social Insurance Fund to meet with its objectives. Those were the headlines. Two semi-final matches were respectively played today in Yaoundé and in Limbe in the first semi-finals match pitting host nation Cameroon against the Black Queens of Ghana. In that epic and pool-setting match in a 40,000 packed Ahmadou Ahidjo Stadium, the Indomitable Lionesses got their ticket for the finals at the 71st minute through a solid goal shot by Raissa Feju. Meanwhile, in the second match that has just ended in Limbe, pitting the Super Falcons of Nigeria against the Bayana of South Africa, it was the Nigerians that got the upper hand. Still concerning the Lionesses of Cameroon sailed through the finals of the 2016 Women's African Cup of Nations after beating Egypt, Zimbabwe, and Egypt at the first stage and also defeating Ghana at the semi-finals in Yaoundé. The Lionesses in the four matches at different stages conceded no goals and scored 6 goals. Meanwhile, the Super Falcons of Nigeria have shined to the finals after a brilliant performance against the Bayana of South Africa. As concerns the Super Falcons of Nigeria, they whitewashed Mali, Kenya, and Ghana during the first stage and outplayed South Africa at the semi-finals in Limbe. The Super Falcons conceded just 1 goal from the Black Queens of Ghana and scored 12 goals in total. The semi-final losers of today, that is Ghana and South Africa, will battle for third position on Friday, the 2nd of December 2016. And the finals of the competition will be played between the Lionesses of Cameroon and the Super Falcons of Nigeria on the 3rd of December 2016. This will be the third time that both teams will meet at the finals. Nigeria, in the preceding one, beat Cameroon to lift the Continental Female Trophy. On to another story that has also something to do with sports and football. The sales of gadgets and other symbols related to the national football teams, that is the Lions and the Lionesses. Well, I'm being informed that that story is not yet ready. We'll be having it in our subsequent newscast. We'll be leaving that to still on football. This time around, the International Federation of Professional Footballers, FIPRO, has conducted a global survey that shows the vast majority of African footballers are far from the glitz and glamour of those lucky enough to play in the world's top leagues. The data collected by FIPRO paints a dark picture of the reality of life for African footballers. One of the shocking findings of the survey is that physical abuse of footballers in Africa is worse in the world. At international level, African players face the following: racial abuses from fans and from other players. They also face violent attack on the pitch and outside and out of the pitch, intimidation into signing contracts, and also isolation as a form of punishment. So as you've seen, it is not all that glitzy, or it is not all that shines. That means it is golden, as you have seen. Well, we'll be leaving Africa, we'll be leaving sports, but still in sport, but we're going to Latin America, where a plane carrying 81 people, including a top Brazilian football team, has crashed in Colombia, killing 75 people. The aircraft was carrying members of the Chapecoense football team that was due to play in the first leg in the finals of the Copa Sudamericana. The team was promoted to Brazil's first division in 2014 and reached the finals last week after a victory against Argentina's San Lorenzo club. That is really rather unfortunate. Back to Cameroon. The present unrest in West Cameroon is beginning to attract international attention. One of such is the recent release from the United States Department of State demanding the Biya regime to respect human rights and also curb the ongoing crisis and violence meted against peaceful demonstrators in the northwest and southwest regions. For more, Regan Foba tells us.
The United States Bureau of Public Affairs has expressed profound unease at the spate violent protests recorded since last week in Bamenda and Boya Monday. A press statement issued by the Washington, D.C.-based institution calls on all parties involved in the standoffs to embrace dialogue as a means of arresting any further loss of life, injuries, and damages. The release, bearing the signature of John Kibi, Assistant Secretary at the Public Affairs Bureau, additionally calls on the Biya government to ensure protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms, as well as listen to the protesters. Violence erupted Monday at the University of Boya, when students besieged the main administrative block to protest the imposition of 10,000 francs CFA as penalty for late registration, as well as demand the disbursals of 50,000 francs CFA worth of presidential grants. Unconfirmed reports indicate scores of students were weeks off to detention. The atmosphere in Boya remains as tense as in Bamenda, where SDF MPs led by Nijon Fundi engaged a peaceful march in support of common law lawyers and teachers protesting against the francophonization of the common law system and the English subsystem of education.
Well, we think that the such declaration or the international attention that the brutalities of the Cameroonian securities meted on the peaceful demonstrators in Boya and Bamenda will be checked. We'll still stay in the West Cameroons and precisely in Bamenda, where officials of the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF, have vehemently denounced what they have termed continuous brutality of citizens when they exercise their fundamental human rights. The party's chairman, Nijon Fundi, headed a peaceful march and a rally at the main thoroughfare called Commercial Avenue in Bamenda to denounce the continuous brutalities in Bamenda meted by Cameroon's security forces. Crystal Katala has the details.
Senators, parliamentarians, and mayors of the opposition Social Democratic Front SDF party descended on the streets of Bamenda Monday, November 28, in support of the ongoing strike action by the Anglophone lawyers and teachers. They began by converging on the residence of National Chairman Nijon Fundi, where they were met by Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique in a bid to dissuade them from carrying out the planned work to his office at Upstation But the opposition men and women insisted and made it with cars and buses. In a crisis meeting in the Governor's Conference Hall, the SDF elected officials, who had been joined by UPC Secretary General,
to save our unity, because without dialogue we cannot develop this country, and when we avoid dialogue, then we can maybe destroy our own country. That's why UPC came here to promote dialogue, and we are very happy to see that now we are trying to move on, and maybe we are going to find a solution. And
they vehemently denounced what they say is the continuous brutality of citizens when they come out to exercise one of their fundamental rights in a democratic context by spraying them with tear gas and shootings, live bullets, some of which fell in the residence of Mr. John Frunzi. In response to the catalogue of complaints, Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique denied any administrative official ordering soldiers to open fire. He said so far only one person has died from a gunshot in Bambui, but the incident was a mere coincidence last week's street demonstrations. Adolphe Lele Lafrique later invited the leaders of the angry politicians to a restrained meeting behind closed doors in his office. In continuation to their action, all the SDF senators, parliamentarians and mayors made it to the grandstand downtown Commercial Avenue, where they were joined by the national chairman in what turned out to be an SDF rally with speaker after speaker by the Anglophone or Francophone calling for federalism as a solution to Anglophone problem in Cameroon.
Still on the chapter of human rights abuses, but this time around to help improve. Some 40 political parties and civil society organizations in Cameroon have expressed hope that public policies action will henceforth be geared toward transformation of the society for sustainable development. They expressed the hope during a capacity building seminar organized by the Bar Council in Kribi, in the south region of Cameroon. Gladys Ambo has more.
These are members of some political parties and civil society organizations in Cameroon meeting in Kribi in the south region to strengthen their capacities. Participants focused discussion on monitoring the evaluation of public policies within the framework of the implementation of civil and political rights in the country. Emphasis was laid on clamoring for democracy, which includes transparency in public management and the need to develop result-based approach in the administration. Focus is placed on the civil society to give them the opportunity to air their views, to contribute to development and fight against poverty in the country, to equally exercise their civil and political rights. In simple words, the rate of commitment and challenges is at a level where training to reinforce the capacities of civil society activists is imperative, not only intellectually, but also at the institutional level. At the end of the governance project, which runs until 2018, it is expected that the civil and political rights of Cameroonians will be better taken into account by the government. The overall goal of the project, therefore, is to promote the rule of law and governance of human rights in Cameroon through development and monitoring and the evaluation of public policies on human rights.
Well, from human rights to the promotion of investment. This time around in the East region, investors in the East region of Betua have been called to apply law number 003 of 2013 that regulates private investments in Cameroon. The call was made by a delegation from the Cameroon Investment Promotion Agency. For more, Crystal Katala.
The Cameroon Investment Promotion Agency has called on investors in the east of Cameroon to master investment laws and apply them in companies. A delegation from the Investment Promotion Agency met with business concerns in Betua to explain the laws number 003/2013 and other attractive investment pull factors of the region. We have noticed that there is a will at the level of the region. In Douala and Yaoundé, in fact, the littoral and center region. They have benefited from the information concerning the advent of the law that was promulgated by President Biya. This is our fourth step here in the East region. The region is full of potentials that have to be transformed this day to opportunities.
Qui doivent être transformés à ce jour en opportunités.
Led by the General Manager Abidja, the delegation expatiated on the investment-friendly environment in the East. The agency uses a number of tools like diagnosis of equipment to restructure enterprises. It permits to scan the enterprise in order to know the developing functions of the companies and to know if it functions or do not function. The governor of the East region promises to ensure the application of the law in the region.
And from the east to the Adamawa region, failure of the Ngaoundere One Council in the Adamawa region to meet up to its objective, that of the social security scheme, has attracted serious criticism from councillors. This was during the council session aimed at examining and adopting the 2017 budget. For details, Morindi has more.
The Ngaoundere One Council is lagging when it comes to its social insurance contributions. This has invited criticisms not only from workers but also from different political parties like CPDM councillors. The problem dates as far back as 2013. The NUDP-run council is undergoing serious questioning by councillors in the council session for the examination and adoption of the 2017 budget. We have a debt. We have arrears of about 15 million francs CFA at CNPs. If it's an amount the council is yet to settle. Presided at by the senior divisional officer, the mayor, Bobo Saliu, to prove his claims, brandished some documents. Actions which some councillors quickly interpreted as he is drumming for another mandate. We have an envelope we are contesting today. I have been seeing this. I said it in 2016. We have been paying these on regular basis. The Ngaoundere One Council intends to settle most of its debts in 2017, and the target is a 2017 budget estimated at close to 531 million francs CFA in income and expenditure. Though the Ngaoundere One Council has been unable to realize its 2016 projects, the council intends to carry forward some of these projects in 2017, with priority projects the disenclavement of some areas.
Well, from the Adamawa region, we come back here to the littoral province where 3 persons have been injured after they were involved in a road accident. The 3 injured persons were on board a motorcycle which had a head-on collision with a speedy minibus. The accident happened at Pekawit here in Douala. Once again, Ndimorin.
This badly damaged motorcycle was transporting 3 persons before it met a violent shock from this minibus that was heading to school with children on board. The scene happens at Peka 8 in Cameroon's economic city. Witnesses say the minibus was trying to avoid a poorly stationed taxi. The driver of this vehicle was driving down with children. It first of all hit a taxi before getting to the other lane, where it hit a motorcycle. I'm not sure the 3 persons on board the bike survived the accident. Other witnesses have blamed the minibus driver for running on high speed. I had 2 persons on my bike. I was climbing up when I met this minibus running on high speed. It hit a taxi before hitting a motorcycle and ended up at the wall of that building. The driver even tried to escape. The Victims incurred fractures and were rushed to the Cité de Palmier District Hospital, where they are undergoing treatment. The population have called on drivers to be prudent while driving, especially during the festive period, especially as the festive period is very close.
Well, it's on that sad note that we will be putting an end to our newscast today, the 29th day of November 2016. And once again, congratulations to the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon on their victory over the Black Queens of Ghana, and also congratulations to the Super Falcons of Nigeria on their victory over the brave Bayana of South Africa. And this victory, I would like to dedicate it to the victims of brutality of the security forces of Cameroon, especially to the brutalized students of the University of Boya. Well, tomorrow is another day, God willing.